Coming from the true space, we ain't entertaining neighbors. I don't give a fuck what you say. Found the universal coochie, planting seeds and birds fruit. Now I'm really looking juicy. Welcome to the true space. Yeah, bitch, welcome to the true space. Welcome to the true space. Yeah, bitch, welcome to the true space. Alright. What's good, y'all? My name is Open Book. This is my partner.
Hey guys, this is Hearth. Welcome back to TRUSPACE.
Yep. And welcome to Aquarius season. So let's break down the energy of Aquarius and how it's going to hit us all on a collective level. And then we can get down on how it's going to hit every zodiac sign and how we're all individually going to really be going through these transits and what we should be focusing on. And yep, since it's Aquarius season, the focus is on group work. You know what I mean? Like how you can spread your light amongst other people in a cohesive fashion. And all Aquarius season, I feel like there's going to be that opposition or polarization with that Leo energy. And we're going to have to learn how to balance that, or that's what's going to be as absent. That energy that's most absent as we're focusing on Aquarius energy, aka while we're all thinking about collective thoughts and ideas, our individual expression might be getting, left behind. How do you think this Aquarius season is going to hit us all and what we're heading for?
So Aquarius is Aquarius is gonna be all about like you were saying, connecting with the group, creating association and networking to really further what you were doing in Capricorn. You could think about Capricorn as the construction plan. You're looking over the sites and have to really build that commitment for what you're about to do. So when Aquarius season comes in, you try to fixate that cardinal energy that you initiate the winter season with. And if you cannot fixate yourself on that, it's almost like you're letting all this construction plan like go away. But if you actually fixate on that, then you find the people and the things and the places that might help you move that plan further and things related to that. This is also Aquarius a great time to really develop like your mental faculty and really push the limits of your ideas, since it's a fixed air sign. It's not mutable like Gemini, where they like to jump through thoughts and ideas. They don't like to sustain thoughts and ideas. This is why they're smart, but at the same time, this is why they're not. They can't go too far ahead with a thought form, since they want to jump to the next one. While Aquarius be willing to fixate on it and see how how far you're willing to go. It's almost like the air bubble that's separated from the cloud. This is why Aquarius energy is all about being eccentric, standing out, which is very important. But sometimes Aquariuses, they could use this energy in a way that they know they're standing out to the group, but then the group would dislike the way Aquarius standing out in the sense of that Aquarius went too far. You didn't have to be so eccentric and have to stand out. That's the same thing that separates you from the group, and the group no longer desire you to be part of them. It's really the same energy that gets you to where you want to. It's the same energy that kind of pushes you away from the same thing.
For sure. And sometimes, even the group could be eccentric, and then, that brings it out of the Aquarius too. Or the Aquarius gets lost in it because they're in the energy of teamwork makes the dream work, and who they associated themselves around tend to take that extreme energy of Aquarius, and they want to be too, the hipster type deal, like the people that, it's us against the world, or the victimized, getting into your group is a group of victims somehow, some way. Not a group of like-minded individuals who can connect, but a group of victims. Then the eccentricity and the independence and all of that, can get really detrimental for sure, for sure.
And this is gonna be very interesting since we're gonna have the full moon in Leo, and we already went through Leo season, which was all about developing your creativity, self-expression, jumping on the stage, to be willing to fight. Now it's gonna be the other way around. Your awareness is gonna be more placed around your groups, your friends, your associate, and when the full moon comes, it's gonna see whether you forgot that creativity or not, or did you sacrifice it to get lost with the group, with the friends, with the association, with the new technology, the new things, how society is progressing.
Absolutely, absolutely. I look at like Leo energy is the sun. It's it's you shining your light. You're in charge of the direction of your planets, your internal natures, or your co-cast, or co-actors, or what you would say. But it's you're the star of the show, and everybody else is supporting that role. But Aquarius, it's like Dancing with the Stars, or like like one of those game shows where they get a whole bunch of celebrities together, or a whole bunch of main characters together, and put them all into, and then some say when you're in that Leo energy, or say you're so caught up in being your individual star, you could put such a heavy gravitational pull that you're bringing in other stars a little bit closer, and you start mix smashing, and you're kind of breaking up the system. And maybe even on a weak level, if you have too weak of a gravitational pull, the constellation itself won't stay together, or it's missing that one piece that would make it full. So like Aquarius is learning how to balance multiple star systems, multiple gravitational pulls, multiple energies, and seeing like a balance point of how they can all operate together to make a constellation, instead of just being our own individual sun and just focusing on the internal stuff, aka the planets.
The way you said it's the same way how Aquarius as an organ works inside your body. It's your astrocytes and the meridian system. And its whole job is to connect different body parts together. And I'm pretty sure the most intelligent people who have the ability to connect different body parts together, as opposed to people who have more of their awareness in one area of their body. Now, I'm not saying that you won't feel like one part of your body more than the other. Is percentage level and things like that, especially with like the way we're living right now. You hear people speak about I live in my head all the time. It's like because they forget that like the entire body and things like that. And Aquarius, from a mental faculty, you can see how it helps you connect ideas, people, and then groups and associates like that. So it plays out biologically the same way. You can move your arm with your hand and do this dance and shit like that. It's more like neurological capacity because it's sextile Aries. But you can look at Aquarius as like the higher aspect of that brain and nervous system that connects people, while Aries might be that thing you use just to ignite yourself.
It's like the ignition of that information spread and stuff like that. And in Aquarius, like the mechanism through which it travels to get it to places. Interesting. Yeah, that makes sense. And that's really what it's about. Yeah, because that's how Aquarius works. That's what it's for. Having that Aquarius in its full power has that blend of where you're able to detach yourself to a point where real work can get done, where you can cater to your real emotions but not let them get swept under, not forget about your emotions and neglect them and throw them away, but to serve them with the highest intellect, if you get what I mean. And that's when you start bringing out, and you start noticing the connections that you have in life, and the information kind of just comes to you like this, like what we're talking about, how it works into the body, where information is able to come to you in a much faster rate because say people aren't afraid to tell you certain things because maybe you're not going to be as vulnerable because you are able to look at things with a rational mind. So maybe people won't be as scared to confront you. They'll know that you'll intellectualize it, that you mean the best good. And, people may come to you for advice and stuff like that to help figure things out. And through that, you wanting to share your knowledge and wanting to share and communicate the things that you're into, these things get poured back into you, and you see this information network start building up. Like, I swear you would see stuff like that with Aquarius, like, all of a sudden, like, they know a whole bunch of things, or a whole bunch of people in a sector or in a world, that they can kind of take advantage because of interest. They're just into, horse racing and stuff like that. So because of horse racing, they know a whole bunch of people based off of horse racing, and maybe it leads to something else. You know what I mean? But the honest expression of that energy and utilization of it is how, spirit and God can work with you to give you the information that you need, because you're laying down the informational networks. It's like you're creating the pathways, and they're well established. So when information needs to go down there, it's, Amazon Prime, 24 hours and it's there.
And
type
and this sounds like a very well established, like a nervous system that knows how to deliver information, does not stagnate, and so on and so forth. Very important thing. This is the last Aquarius season we're gonna have before Pluto moves from Capricorn into Aquarius. So like, this is the last time where you could connect with people, get as many thoughts you could have, as many mentalities as you have before Pluto starts transforming everything, destroys, take power control of every single groups. A lot of the groups you guys are now watching is to get eradicated. New technology, new eugenics, new vaccines, new social programs, new metaverses, all type of shit. Like, just watch the news and keep up with the technology as we progress deeper and deeper. And the people who gets associated too, that's gonna be the key part, allowing you to see what type of technology can get developed, which is how technology gets developed. Absolutely. By people linking up. That's how Facebook got started, by a group of niggas getting together.
Absolutely. Yeah, college kids wanted to fuck, and something coming out of that. And then it developed into what it is now. But that is so right, man. And I've been feeling that, like just pressure to find your tribe, to associate yourself with like-minded people, to get away from the stuck mindsets. And I guess Saturn's been pushing us to do that too, and making it serious and disciplining us and showing us how much we need to work with other people. Like, that reality is going to be very clear, because just like what you're saying, say Pluto goes into Aquarius. What if something like shut down Facebook, or shut down Instagram, or shut down YouTube? Who the fuck, like, what? Where's the like-minded people in your life now? You can't find the niche on YouTube or something like that, or YouTube cracks down on something. People are kicking real game. They're like, no, that's not part of our mentality. Randomly, divination's bad. And they take off all your favorite tarot readers and astrologers or whatever it may be that manifests like that. What would you do? And that's kind of Pluto transforming that Aquarius and testing how well you're able to work with others, because there's going to be these huge needs and wants to be mentally stimulated to imagine these higher concepts that we have been doing. But if we haven't been taking the energy in the healthy ways, in terms of creating that network or that connection with people, and learning how to work with other people in some way, when the easy routes, the easy connections, like the Instagrams, the Facebooks, the impersonal stuff kind of gets taken away, or harder to access, or there's complications in between, how well do we stand up on it? Say they make it harder and harder for you to be an individual. They make it harder and harder for you to, be in control of your own mind, or to promote certain things, like slowly by changing the algorithm and shit like that, putting a few plants, they can shape the way astrology's kicked on these platforms, at least, and promote, more lost ways or whatever it may be, so we're going to come to a test, and people may not see that right now, but just the cancellations that are coming on, it's only going to get worse. And who knows what shape or form that's going to take.
Like, if you have preachers preaching right now in the streets, I'm telling you, they're going to be preaching in the metaverse.
Oh, dead ass, man.
And they won't tell the difference, because they're lost in what they're doing, and they're lost in the world on top of that.
Probably beating his meat while he's doing it. Probably with a handful of popcorn, preaching in the metaverse. Goddamn
And he's trying to
right.
gather all the Hebrew tribes in the metaverse, and then they kill you. They kill you guys. You know how? But
They created Israel.
and you know what they do? Take out the server. That's it. All you guys did.
That's jokes. That's jokes. But for real, we're really gonna start to come to understand what it's like, and I bet Aquarius is understand that, you know, where they wouldn't get as stubborn in certain things, like how other people would, like a Taurus, you know, would be holding on something certain things, but their idea of progression could be something that Aquarius gets held stuck on, you know, a way of communicating, a way of doing all that, but that's its greatest strength too. What gives it detective vibes. I feel like Scorpio has that vibe too, with the detective energy, and Aquarius has that as well. Maybe Virgo, you can throw Virgo in that mix too, where they're very good detectives in terms of putting two and two together and being able to see what's going on behind closed doors, if you get what I mean. So, and look, when you have a network of information, you know, stuff like that can really happen. You know, look at why Pablo Escobar was so successful. It's because he had eyes everywhere, you know, like he would run the city that he was in, and if anybody moved or came in or something happened, he would hear about it, or the information would get passed on. Therefore, you're able to do more Scorpio, eighth house type shit, sell drugs, and do all of that. But dead ass, that's how we should be looking at endeavors. Like really, if you wanted to do something and say it's very Scorpionic, you have to look at your cross, your grand cross now, and those are your crossroads. And once you get your grand cross, you look at your Aquarius, you look at your Taurus, you look at your Leo, and then you'll make it happen. You'll make, if you cover all of those points.
That makes sense, because then you won't be like crossed out by someone coming from a different like fixed perspective. Like you have like you're watching everywhere, yo, basically.
Exactly. But yeah, that's how Aquarius season's gonna be. We're gonna see a lot of people teaming up, a lot of teams battling each other, a lot of baits and clashes of mentalities. You know, a lot of mental stubbornness too, where people are pushing their ideologies of how we're supposed to move forward. And this is what I mean. Like, we all have that natural Aquarian energy where we want to be received into the group. We want to be a certain fit. But with all of these groups being all flunked out and like that, you can't just join a group to be a part of a group. You have to really be like-minded. You have to really connect with the mission. Even, you don't have to agree, you know, that nigga's favorite anime could be fucking, you know, Byakugan or Yu-Gi-Oh! He can still talk to the nigga, even though he's a weird ass nigga, and he's never seen One Piece or some shit like that. He can still talk to the guy, you know, at the astrology convention, even though he has these weird, but we're down with the mission of astrology, so we can kind of let those things go and still get behind a certain energy, put something positive forward, but yet still have our individual. That's the energy we need to be striving for. Otherwise, you may get into groups off of the feeling of wanting to progress and be a part of something, but the things that they make you do, you know, in order to be it, sacrifices your individuality. You can't think the way that you. And boy, are we seeing this in the world, man. Saturn in Aquarius is no joke.
No, it's not.
No joke at all. Like, they're really coming down. It's like you really can't think certain things. Really trying to solidify certain mentalities, and people really believe this shit is true. Like, it's crazy. Literally Aquarius type shit, fixated air. Where I always looked at, like what you're saying, a bubble, like an air bubble up in the air. That's how I looked at Aquarius, and yeah, I guess that does give you a good perspective and shit like that. But you know, you're only breathing your air, you're only breathing your information. Like it gets so, it can get so lost. You can get so lost in being right. Like so much people are right.
But
But they get
like
lost.
Aquarius energy could turn you to a crackhead where you might go against what you know it's true. Like he's not, he doesn't call himself an astrologer. I think you know him, like Aset McChristian. He basically make videos about I hate this sun, I hate this sun, I hate this sun. And every time he goes on live, he tells people continuously, I am not an astrologer. I hate astrology. I don't practice this shit. Then later on, he makes video about, oh, yeah, we're in Scorpio season, so that's how we're feeling. And he talks, the way he put astrology, he makes you think he's opposing it. But that's how he stands out. But in reality, it's the other way around. He talks about, he utilizes it. But I understand his perspective. He sees how a lot of people get lost in astrology and so on and so forth. So kind of I appreciate it. But at the same time, people like kind of see him as like a hypocrite. But like he's a hood. He's a hood nigga. So like I owe nothing on him, yo.
Yeah, you can't be holding no expectations for a hood nigga for stuff like that. But I get what you mean. It jolts you and it makes you think. It makes you really consider what it is, you know, that's going on. And a lot of people, you know, don't do that. In terms of astrology, it can become a slur of keywords and, you know, when basic definitions and regurgitations of the same words and understandings where people don't really get into the deeper aspects. So people doing stuff like that really questions you to, you know, go into deeper understanding. So for sure, I get what you mean. Dr. Ali kind of does the same thing with the polarities. You know, saying it's not Aries, it's the first polarity and stuff like that, just to get us out of the names.
Shout out to them. We respect Dr. Ali. I can't say nothing.
Shout out to Dr. Ali. That's facts. But yeah, Aquarius season. Eventually, the sun is going to hit Saturn, so it's going to be that real test of personal identity and how we are doing in this Aquarius season. Are we into groups that are not lined up with us mentally? You know, where we have to abandon certain core aspects of ourselves in order for us to feel like we're progressing and stuff like that. Saturn's gonna come and lump a whole bunch of weight and responsibility on your back because based off of the decisions that you made, and you really feel the heaviness and the weight of what you've been paying attention to, and really feel the weight of, you know, who you associate yourself with, and draw up all these responsibilities that because you weren't in the right space that you don't want. But if you have been planting the right seeds, when Saturn comes, it's going to be all the responsibilities that you want. It may be a new position in the world, a new way of seeing things, you know, and more access to information. The team really coming together and solidifying to something physical, into something positive, you know, into whatever it may be. You have more access to more people, more access to more information. You know, more access to moving forward in a positive way, and, you know, the social causes that you hold deep to your core without having to sacrifice personal identity. Then when Saturn comes and hits you with the work, it's like, whoa, this is the work that I wanted to do. I'm in a good spot now, or these are the problems that I want to have, if you get what I mean. Then you'll that's how you know you're in the right spot. When you're happy to have problems, that's how you know you hit the right spot.
We're kind of lucky since we obviously had Saturn, of course, for a while, making us very dry, very restrictive, very controlling. But having Venus kind of pave the way, making us kind of appreciate, kind of give a fuck more about association and networking. It will like place us in a good space to like kind of want to associate. Or on the negative, we end up associating with everybody, we end up appreciating everything, we accept anything they throw at us. Then so when the sun goes to Aquarius, the sun dies, debilitated, your ego's death. Saturn, the Reaper's gonna kill the Son of God. In Aquarius, you're gonna join their group subconsciously, or you're gonna subscribe to their idea subconsciously.
Yeah. It does get dangerous. I see what you mean. Yeah, there's because of that Venus influence. That rock to sleep type shit, absolutely. Where you really get rocked to sleep within that realm of area of who you're associating with, where something can seem nice and like it be presented like it's comfortability, or it caters to your senses of pleasure, it caters, it's aesthetic, you know, and it makes sense. But once everything comes to surface, does it stay? So you can really get rocked to sleep because something looks nice. But this is why Aquarius kind of takes away some, it stands above the water. It's the water bearer. It's not necessarily in the water. That's why it takes that position, so it can not get lost in the emotions. And we're seeing it. People getting behind certain ideologies, certain identifications. Identity politics is what's going on. That's literally what's going on with Saturn and Aquarius right now. Where who you are associated with on a group level is more important than who you are as an individual. We're really living in those times. So if you're not associating yourself away from that bullshit and around with like-minded people who have healthy Aquarius energy, who will debate you any day of the week, you know what I mean? They don't get emotions involved when we're talking about information. They want you to join the group, and they start talking about all of these feelings and emotions and all of these different individualities. Like, what? That's not what we're supposed to be getting together for. They're here saying all this stuff, this message, but what they're really saying behind is that I don't have a good relationship with my daddy, I don't have a good relationship with my mom and shit like that. They ain't raised me proper. I have all this childhood trauma that I'm neglecting and not doing, all wrapped up into this bullshit. And you're like, what are these niggas talking about? When did it become you and your daddy issues? I thought we was trying to take over the government. Like, I would love to join these radical groups if they was really about taking down the government, but always has to be on some other type of shit. Always has to be what was QAnon saying? John F. Kennedy's son or something like that's not dead. He's gonna come back and he's gonna become president or some shit like that. And Trump is the Jesus coming back, the Messiah and all of that different type of shit. It's
or Elijah.
No.
Or Elijah Muhammad, the leader of Nation Islam, is right now in the mothership. He's waiting for all his people.
Right, yeah, and Mr. Farrakhan's gonna go up there, come back down, looking 16 odd years old. Like, it's like, damn, I was with you guys. You were talking about the liberation of the black man, making our own institutions. I was like, fuck yeah. Oh, and then on the mothership. And I was like, oh, no. It's like, it always does that. It's always like that. You always look at a group, it's like, yeah, I fucks with it. with it. And somebody going through some weird shit. And it's like, damn.
I think that's.
But this is why.
I think that's because after Aquarius we got Pisces. After the group gets associated, we're all serious and shit. We all get lost after that.
Absolutely, and all of the things, just like what I was talking about with the people in the ideology. How they're bringing up all of their past and stuff like that. But that's when we get progressive to Pisces. All the things you've been holding into your subconscious and haven't been expressing and haven't been experiencing, starts coming to the surface. And same thing with Aquarius season in terms of your associates. Look at what they say. The friends you keep really dictate who you are and who you become and the life that you live. I feel like Aquarius is a good show of that because it shows how you work with people at large. But the associations you have is based off of where your energy has gone throughout the whole transit. Aries up to Aquarius. And if you have bad associations, bad communication networks and shit like that, or, you're in groups that force you to abandon your individuality, it's like, what happened? You had, 10 other signs or 11 other signs to regain your individuality or maintain your individuality. But obviously at Aquarius, those points is where it's at its weakest, where we lose our individuality at such a high point. So what we were doing from the beginnings of the years really comes down to accumulated points here in Aquarius, where look around and see who your the information that you have access to, who your associates are, and whether you made the right decisions throughout the year, managing your individuality. And so definitely intense Aquarius season. We have keep your mind right, you know, really focus your mind on the greatest good, how you can use information for the greatest good, you know, how you can join and work with the group without compromising your individuality, you know. It doesn't have to be a power struggle. It doesn't have to be my team versus their team, or my intellect versus their intellect, you know. It could be a friendly debate or no debate at all. You know, you just exchange information on other shit. You know, we really have to stop being so combative with knowledge and information and be more accumulative. You know, really be more open. So that's where you really develop that wisdom. Because looking at Aquarius, well, somebody will say something and give information, they'll be like, "No, that's stupid," and they'll never think about it again. You know what I mean? But then that may have had key elements into it. But, you know, just write off someone because they're stupid or because they're on other team. Oh, that person's a Republican or conservative. Oh, that person's a liberal or even Democrat the other way. You know, all of that different type of stuff. You get lost.
If anything, just be interested in this neurological circuit that's gonna be wired by the government. See the wires where it's gonna go, because this neurological circuit is gonna be placed on your subconscious mind. And while we go to Pisces season, and you may not be aware of like someone inserted this chip in your head.
Absolutely. And where the uniqueness is coming from and what's getting progressed. You know, we really have to start taking this energy, take control of our own energy, and taking that back. You know, creating our own groups and institutions. You know, collecting our own information. You know, us pushing forward our own agendas, and stop. You know, just giving out because something else looks bigger. You know, we have to start building our own shit. So let's focus on that this Aquarius season. But yeah, and then